All right.
I can't wait to make fun of Chase's mac and cheese. So I'm ready for that. That shit was fucking terrible.
All right. Well, hey, let's. All right. Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Tolbert.
Present. Hey, Varnum, look, I found it. I knew it was in here.
We'll talk about that in a second.
I just found it.
I knew that it would be in there. We'll talk about what you just showed us.
I'm very excited and I'm present.
Thank you. And I might have you read that for us in a little bit. Big Mike.
Yep, I'm here.
And Cookie.
It's me. It's C-O-O-K? Me. I don't know.
I-E.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if it was going to fit with
C-O-O-K-I-E.
I-E. Okay, I'm going to use that from now on. There we go.
It's me. Cookie, this past week was Thanksgiving, a giving of thanks for all of us. We got to celebrate with family, various things. Cookie, you get to kick this off. How was your Thanksgiving? Your first one not in North Carolina.
No. So you know what we did as a unit? You know, me, my girlfriend, and my roommate, we all cooked Thanksgiving dinner. I was in charge of the ham. The honey ham came out great. Diane was in charge. Go ahead.
I would like, did you actually was it one that you just heated up? Or was it one that you actually made the glaze and then put the glaze on the thing?
Well, I mean, I heated it up, but I mean, I was last to the party, so.
Okay.
But it came out good.
All you did was heat it up and then put the aforementioned glaze upon it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see here. Diane was in charge of the stuffing and the turkey. Both of those came out great. Let's see here. What else did we have? We had green beans. We had succotash, which I was in charge of. Came out great.
What goes into your succotash, Cookie?
Besides like fatback or like, you know what I'm talking about? You know what fatback is, right?
You can get fatback in Colorado?
Huh? Well, you know, I put bacon in it. Close enough. Okay. It's the same thing. You can't find fatback here.
I mean, it's a less fatty pork product.
But I'm saying if I was home, that's what I would put in.
Okay.
If I were home.
Yes.
Succotash.
And then it was sufferable.
I said, did the succotash suffer at all?
Oh no, it did not. It was not suffering.
It was not suffering. Succotash.
But I love that reference. Thank you, Sylvester. Anywho. And then our friend Chase was in charge of the mac and cheese.
Okay.
Now, Aaron,
we know that Chase is a good person.
He's their pet. He's their pet.
Their pet. Why, being a Caucasian, did you allow him to make the macaroni and cheese?
Because he said he took this recipe from a black man back home. That's why. That's what he said.
Wait a minute. Like he physically stole this from a black man back home?
He physically took the recipe from a black man back home in Delaware. Let's clarify.
In Delaware. So not a Southern black man. Okay.
This is not a Southern black man. So now I'm curious about the black man because the macaroni and cheese was sweet. Has anyone ever had sweet?
No, he used like sweetened condensed milk instead of evaporated milk, probably.
Exactly. Condensed milk. It was condensed fucking milk. That's what made it fucking sweet.
What a fucking idiot.
I've never seen it before. I had it.
Sweet cheese.
It was sweet fucking cheese. It was sweet macaroni. Anybody got an answer?
Honestly, and that's like it. I mean, it's pretty hard to mess that up because you can just read the labels, and there's no coming back from that either. It's not like you can just dump a bunch of salt in it.
No, I tried. It didn't work. It's disgusting.
Did you yell at him for like trying to culturally appropriate what you felt was important to you?
I yelled at him and I told him to give me the number of the black man so I can yell at him as well.
You're gonna take his black card, Cookie. You're gonna revoke it.
Let me ask y'all something. Actually, let me ask Tolbert. Tolbert is the chef of the crew. Do you put cream of mushroom in macaroni and cheese?
No,
Why?
because it doesn't go in macaroni and cheese.
What do you put in your macaroni and cheese, Tolbert? If you were making it,
Butter, milk, cheese, and that's about it. Little seasoning, little love.
You can if you're trying to make it creamy, you can put a little sour cream in there too.
Oh, okay.
See, I can see sour cream above. I don't want to be picking out chunks of fucking mushrooms from my macaroni and cheese.
Exactly.
This sounds like an abomination of
Did
any
he put that
singular
in there
attempt.
too, or do you do that, Cookie?
No, he put the cream of mushroom in there.
What the fuck?
That's
I
why
need to call Derek. Derek needs to be called and told about this.
I had to ask my white friends. I had to ask you guys, what the fuck is going on with this? Is this just me?
Nah, don't put that on us. That's because you let a kid who is essentially your child and pet try to make something, and he clearly can't read. I don't know, man. That's awful.
So yes, the
Sweet mushroom macaroni and cheese.
abomination.
Was there cheese in it at least?
Was it what?
Was there actual cheese in it?
He put all kinds of cheese that you can think of. He put it fucking in it. Cheddar. He put, cheddar, Monterey Jack,
Classic
two other
mistake.
cheeses I can't think of right now.
Classic mistake. See, the key to good macaroni and cheese is not more cheese. You stick with a single cheese. The key is cream and butter and fats. You need it creamy, but stick with the single cheese. Otherwise, they separate and you just get an oily mess. You want a creamy single cheese sauce is what you want.
How much of this macaroni and cheese did you end up eating, Cookie?
Well, see, Aaron, it looked good coming out. So I got this much.
And you can't let it waste, you know?
I can't. So I ate about that much of it and then threw the rest of it away.
Oh my God. Cookie, this macaroni and cheese made by Chase.
Yes.
Did you let him know immediately that it tasted like dog shit?
I said, why is this shit sweet? That was the first thing I said. I said, why is this shit sweet?
That's like the first thing that came out of your mouth?
Yes.
Cookie, did you
Wait a minute.
Did you rub his nose in it?
Figuratively, I did by leaving the tray in the refrigerator and not touching it.
Mike, you sound sick. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
that's part of my Thanksgiving story. Yeah.
Great. I'm glad you didn't come to WrestleCade with us. Cookie, I am sorry for my race to your race. I apologize for what transgressed over a 24-hour period at your apartment in Colorado. And Cookie, I deeply, deeply, sincerely apologize for that terrible mac and cheese. We will make you mac and cheese when you come back into town. Tolbert will be in charge of it. Maybe Mike. Mike could also do mac and cheese that is not bad.
Thank God. Now, Aaron, let me ask you this. Can you talk to Derek? Can you ask him about this and then get back to me? Because I'm really curious.
Yeah, so what I'll do this week is I'll tell Derek to listen to the podcast. He is not on the road right now, and he's a part of my story. I hung out a lot with Derek this week, but I will ask him to rate this mac and cheese, and hopefully I can get like maybe a recorded segment, or we can call him next Sunday to tell us about how awful that mac and cheese sounds.
I like it.
Mike, tell me about your Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, like I said, last week, my parents were in town helping us work on the house. We did actually do some more work on the house, finished painting, swapped out hardware in the kitchen. I did some yard work. But the terrible thing about our Thanksgiving is Elliot brought back something from school and So it started with just that classic like kid gunkiness, right? That the sinus and the coughing, and it quickly got around the house. And then for the last week, we've all been like just hacking up lungs, but it's like that productive cough that like you get the junk out, and you either have a choice to either spit it or swallow it. And so that's what we've been dealing with. Everybody's been hacking up a lung. And so it's not really the best thing in the world. And then I worked on Thanksgiving Day. That was real fun. But otherwise, just healing up and enjoying time with the family.
Mike, have you taken a COVID test?
No, because it's not COVID.
But do you know that for sure?
Well, one, it's a productive cough, so that definitely tells us it's more just kind of respiratory infection.
Okay.
Two, I'm double vaccinated. I got the natural vaccine a couple weeks ago, so literally not COVID.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I can tell you it's not, and I've not had a reason to take it.
Okay. All right. I almost called you Cookie.
I know. I see that. Yeah, no, I do my pre-shift screens for work and like never had a fever or any of the other like GI symptoms, inflammatory issues that are associated with COVID. So you can pretty much just chalk it up to being a respiratory infection kind of thing, which sucks because they take like a week or two to get over.
All right. Well, thank you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, Mike.
There it is.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? It's come up. It just like comes up out of the lungs.
Yeah. So we are all virtual today for the podcast. Tolbert, I spent a good, we will say 14 hours with you yesterday.
Highway run, baby.
Highway run. We're not going to talk about that yet. That's going to be the main portion of this week's episode. Before we get to that, Tolbert, tell me about your Thanksgiving.
Oh, it was very pleasant. Went to Hope Mills, Fayetteville area. Spent some time with family. My brother and sister-in-law and niece were up from Atlanta. Don't get to see them too often, but it was very low key. Ate a lot of food. Ate some oysters. Did some ribs. Did the classic Thanksgiving dinner. Drank a lot and smoked a lot and ate desserts and took naps. It was the exact Thanksgiving I wanted. My wife did not go into labor during Thanksgiving. So it was good. It was very productive.
So did you appreciate this as the calm before the storm?
Very much so.
I thought you were going to go more into.
I don't know. I don't know where to go with that, but I guess you could say it's a calm before the storm. I'm still stressed because I don't know when this baby's going to come. It can come at literally any minute now, and that's the most stressful part because you just don't know. You don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or 3 weeks from now.
Just like the rapture, it can happen.
Just like the rapture.
Well, and we'll talk about the rapture.
Aaron, that baby is coming. So.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Damn, Mike.
Damn.
So my Thanksgiving, very much a fine Thanksgiving. We got to do the normal. We go to my parents' house. We have the white Thanksgiving early in the day, and then we have the multicultural Thanksgiving later that evening. We started off. We have the traditional Thanksgiving. I don't know if you guys saw the Facebook meme that kind of became popular this week. It's like the white Thanksgiving is 4 to 10 people. It's traditional. It's your turkey, your ham, your cranberry sauce, blah blah blah. Right, and it's like also dogs and cats are allowed at the table. That sort of thing. That's what we had. Later that evening, we had the quote Black Thanksgiving, which is our Cookie. Are you pulling up the thing right now?
I'm trying to find it right now. You go ahead, Aaron.
And it is a list that is probably half a mile long of different foods. It is all damn day, and it is whoever wants to come. And there are no cats and dogs allowed at the table. That is exactly what my experience was on Thursday. So we did not have macaroni and cheese at the white Thanksgiving, but we did have a delicious Derek Addison cooked macaroni and cheese that evening. Cookie, are you still?
I did find this, Aaron. Did you see this?
Yeah. So Kraft macaroni and cheese versus a delicious handcrafted artisan macaroni and cheese later that evening. We did have collards. We did have fatback. We had all of the fixins. It was delicious. The next day, Derek got us, and by us, I mean just Jasmine and I, some oysters. We ate half a bushel of oysters steamed in Derek's kitchen for a good 3 to 4 hours. We enjoyed talking with him, and I got to tell him all the different wrestlers I was going to be meeting on Saturday. So we had a good time together, and he was very much living vicariously through me, much like Cookie and Mike yesterday. So now let's get to it. The main event, if you will, of the podcast. All right, so yesterday, Saturday, we got to travel once again to the, would you say it a wrestling convention? Is that what you say? Or a reunion?
It's more so, it's more so a reunion.
A wrestling reunion. We weren't able to go last year because it was canceled due to COVID, but the year before that, we got to go, and it ended up being this special moment in the podcast history. Well, we got to relive it yesterday. Me, Tolbert, and Travis, we met at my house early in the morning, loaded up, and we traveled the 3.5 hours to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. On the way, we had to stop at the Hardee's. We got some delicious biscuits. I had a Frisco biscuit on the way, and it was a delicious travel accoutrement to add to our journey. We arrive at the convention center, and we ended up going to the convention first, and it ended up being just a lot like last year or 2 years ago. A very interesting assortment of professional wrestling fans and professional wrestlers. Tolbert, anything to add at this first portion?
And this year was much busier than the previous year that we went. A lot more wrestlers, a lot more people. This place was packed. It was sold out. You probably had 5,000 people coming through there that day. I mean, we had FTR there. You had Danhausen there. You had Mick Foley. You had Big Papa Pump was in the house. You had all your local favorites. You had the Dawson brothers. You had, all kinds of people from NWA, TNA, WWE, Tatanka was there. Just some heavy hitters on the list. It was really cool to see. It's always a little overwhelming when you walk into the convention center.
Very much so.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. You automatically see like 5 of your childhood icons, sitting there at a table. You don't quite know what to do or what move to make, but we usually, we take a few victory laps. We talk to some people, you see some people that have traveled that you've met in the past or know from other wrestling circles. So that's always a very fun aspect of it. We always have to stop by George South's booth, talk to Mr. George South and get a t-shirt, get a grab bag, which I will be reading off the contents of here in a little bit. Always a fun. If you're at WrestleCade, George South's mystery bags or boxes are not to be missed. It is a highlighter of WrestleCade.
And as a wrestling convention, obviously, a lot of the sights, sounds, and even smells come from the wrestling fans.
Yes.
So you're walking around. A lot of wrestling fans don't bathe. That's their prerogative to not bathe. A lot of wrestling fans are unkempt. So you get to kind of mingle with that, but you're also kind of observing all the other subgenres of wrestling fans. You're looking
which we
at
talked about.
You're looking at the metalheads, which Tolbert fit right in. The stoners, which Tolbert fit right in. The wrestling nerds, the wrestling elitists, which I feel like I'm a part of, and lots of other wrestling people.
You can say rednecks. You can say the rednecks.
A lot of rednecks. There. We did this year. I did get a beautiful picture of Dave Wills, who is the famous wrestling fan who told Jim Cornette in a gymnasium in Sumter, South Carolina, "It's still real to me, damn it." So we got to see all the famous wrestling fans. It's a reunion for me as well, because a lot of people I get to see that I have not seen in years. It is for the, I would say, hardcore wrestling fans. This whole event,
very much is, and you get that vibe right when you walk in. You're like, this is a special breed of wrestling fan. This is like, this is the hardcore of the hardcore. A lot of people, this is like their event for the year. Like they save all their money for it. I saw guys with literally the huge like hockey bags. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Cookie, the big hockey duffel bags.
Yeah.
Multiple of them filled with action figures, right?
Yes.
And then they have they have folders for their signed photographs, and then they have a schedule of like who's who, where's where, what action figure they're gonna get signed, dude. And these guys, I saw multiple of these people. Like this is what they do, and they've been doing it all day long. It's crazy.
I don't know if they're trying to make money off of this. Maybe they're selling these, but I feel like a lot of these people, this goes to their collection.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you have some people. You have the guys like us that are goofing off, having a good time, and then you have these people who are like, "Don't get in my fucking way. This is my day. No one will ruin it."
Holy fucking shit!
Yes, Cookie.
How many people did you see wearing the like legit wrestling belts this year?
Honestly, not as much as we usually do.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
There was a good 10 to 15, but usually there's a lot more. There was a lot of 24/7 champs that we were tempted to roll up and get that championship off them.
This close, Cookie. This close to this dude that was in line with us. We were about to be the new 24/7 champs. We just couldn't find a ref.
Yes.
And I mean, the only ref we could find was Earl Hebner, and he's a dirty ref anyway.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
But
yes,
I was just saying it was a good time in general. We've we got a good lunch. It was a beautiful chilly day in Winston-Salem. We walked around downtown a little bit. I have to say half of our experiences probably came from waiting in line at WrestleCade. Wouldn't you say, Aaron?
Yeah. So I will say that WrestleCade for me is less about watching the wrestlers as a whole. I think it's mostly the more of the experience. A lot of my time at WrestleCade is trying to take pictures of wrestling fans that I hate immediately, or wrestling fans that I find hilarious and with no social boundaries and things like that. We got to see a lot of things like that. And being in line for probably about an hour and a half.
It was more like 2 hours.
Being in line 2 hours, you got to experience a lot of wrestling fans. You overhear a lot of things. So we'll talk about that in 1 second. We did have very good lunch at whose hot chicken was it?
It was
Jimmy's Hot Chicken Shack or whatever.
Or something.
What do I do? What do I do right? Jimmy's Chicken Shack, Hot Chicken Shack in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We had some delicious hot chicken, hot Nashville style chicken. It was very good. And then while we were sitting there, Kane of all people walked in, but not the Kane Glenn Jacobs, but a overweight Caucasian 8-year-old boy in a Kane costume. God. Full leather costume walked in, and the whole restaurant just stopped and looked and said, "That's Kane."
Mask and all. It's funny, Cookie.
Yeah, mask it all.
When you go, sorry, you're at this wrestling convention. All these fans are like, "Let's go get lunch." There's all these places downtown. But when you go to get lunch, all the restaurants are also filled with wrestling fans, and it's makes for even better people watching.
And a lot of people don't understand the implications of this convention. A lot of people are like, "Oh, there's a lot of wrestling fans in here right now. Our waiter, who seemed like a cool hip dude, comes up to Tolbert and sees his Weed Eater hat, which Weed Eater is a sludge metal band, stoner metal from this area. Pretty famous if you're into that sort of music. And he says, "Oh, Weed Eater, like the VeggieTales episode?" And Tolbert says, "No,
What?
not at all like VeggieTales."
Nothing like VeggieTales.
What the fuck?
What the hell? That's weird. That's
Yeah,
fucking weird.
What kind of grown man is gonna even make a VeggieTales reference to another grown man?
That grown man that waited on us yesterday at Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Aaron, I have to ask you, was the man of the hour that some people call him this, the man of the hour, Superhuman? Was he there?
He was not there this year. He was not able to afford it. He was just $20 short, is what I've heard.
Huh.
That $20 he could have made last year or 2 years ago is the $20 he could have used to pay for his ticket this year. But some asshole stiffed him.
It's a shame.
We
Damn
looked out
shame
for him though,
it is.
Cookie. We looked out for him. We were gonna stiff him again.
I would have stiffed him again. Yes.
But
Yes.
Cookie, you know who we did not stiff this year?
Who's that?
That would be Mr. Danhausen.
Yes. Very nice. Very evil.
So it's fun. We walk up to Danhausen's booth and we say, "Danhausen, we're not here to talk about professional wrestling." And he says, "Okay, very nice. What do you want to talk about?" And I said, "The Simpsons, Danhausen. Let's talk about The Simpsons." So we talked to him about The Simpsons for a little bit, and they were like, "How much for a picture with all of us together?" $10. Danhausen is a man about the people.
I love that.
And
That is amazing.
He had a nice line. There was lots of love for Danhausen. He just broke his leg. His leg housing is broken. So he's recovering. Of course, the recent events with the Ring of Honor as well. But a lot of people showed up and showed much love for Danhausen. I got the shirt, which is badass. I'm wearing it tonight to work. It's amazing.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. I think it's the only person we took a picture with, actually.
Yeah, it is honestly the only person we spent money on. We stood in line for FTR just so I could talk to FTR as a joke. And it's their handler is like, "Hey, do you have a receipt for getting a picture or an autograph with FTR?" And Dax looks at him. He's like, "Yeah, this asshole's not going to spend any money with me." He tells the guy, and the guy's like, what do you mean?" And then Cash is like, "What up, Barnum?" And we got to talk to them for a good 15 minutes before we moved on. We got Travis in connection with Cash, and now they are going to be, I believe Travis is going to send him some artwork that he has made for FTR. He wants it on his wall. So it's going to be a kind of a cool thing for Cash Wheeler's collection. So I think that's pretty
awesome.
cool.
That's awesome, man.
But
I have to ask though. Wait, real quick, Aaron. Big Papa Pump. Did anybody get close to him this year? Did anybody take a picture with Big Papa?
We got close to him, but we did not interact with him. We've been there, done that. You know who we did get close to though, Cookie?
Who's that, Tolbert?
Mr. Buff Bagwell.
The stuff? Buff the stuff?
Did you give him his condolences? Your condolences?
No, he was apparently he was being a dickhead to the Dawson brothers. They told us, they're like, he's being an asshole.
Apparently he was drinking early and not being very nice.
And the Dawsons are like, we're about to beat this guy's ass.
Oh,
He's
shit.
just dealing with grief, man. Like everybody goes through stages and loss differently.
Mike,
Yeah,
he didn't look like he was grieving.
He did not look like his mother died in the last
you
7
imagine-
days.
Imagine your mother dying, and then you have to go spend your entire weekend with 5,000 wrestling fans.
Smelly wrestling fans.
Well, Mike, that's the thing, though. Not many people are coming to see him.
Do you know what the saddest thing? And we're going to tell you this. The wrestlers are in 2 separate convention portions of like conference rooms. A large conference room for a lot of the mid-tier wrestlers, and then the big wrestlers, like big names like Mick Foley, Kurt Angle. Some of the bigger names are kind of put in another part of the conference room, kind of separated. Buff Bagwell was situated in between them on a hallway that nobody walks into. I do not believe that Buff Bagwell got a lot of money from wrestling fans this weekend. So, yeah, it was very sad. So now that we're kind of wrapping up the convention, we get to tell you a little bit about some of the other events that we went to.
I mean, that's the main event.
The main event. So we go eat our chicken lunch. I have to go make a quick run to the Mass General Store, which is but a block away from the convention center because they have barrels of candy. I am notorious for getting barrels of candy put into a bag and so I can have something to snack on during professional wrestling events. So all of my concentration goes into that. It's much like a movie theater vibe when you're eating popcorn. I like to eat flavored Tootsie Rolls and Bit-O-Honeys. That's my vice. So we get
Aaron,
that. Yes.
Real quick, you wrote a 22-page essay once about how much you hate wrestling fans.
24 page.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize. Mike, you need to redo that tweet then because you wrote 22. You wrote a 24-page essay on how much you hate wrestling fans. Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about your outfit?
I don't see that this outfit was not unlike anything I wear every day in my life. I don't understand why this big to-do was made.
We're not saying that you were only a wrestling fan on Saturday. You are a wrestling fan, and that is part of your persona and how you approach life.
So I had my jeans, my nice Hoka hiking boots, because I knew it was going to be a long day of walking and traversing the Benton Hall Convention Center. I also had a fanny pack on.
Your luchador fanny pack.
My luchador fanny pack full of my accoutrements like my asthma inhaler and my nasal spray.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had an FTR t-shirt on, a nice flannel above it because it was a cool 45 degrees in Winston-Salem yesterday. And also my Stone Cold Steve Austin middle fingers hat.
And your luchador mask.
Yes. Which is not, it is a COVID mask. It is not a actual luchador mask.
Correct.
Yeah. So I did look like a wrestling fan. Okay. I looked like one. I fit the part yesterday.
That's okay. I'm just making a statement. Carry on, Aaron. Go ahead.
So we get in line. We're all prepared to get in line and we were going to take shifts. The line was long as hell. It went through multiple convention centers and also wrapped around. The line was atrocious. I will tell you that. And we felt like we got in line probably 2 hours earlier than we got in line last time. So we're waiting in line. We're going to take shifts. If anybody had to pee, one of them could leave as long as the person in line was still there. We get in line, and all of a sudden, a woman in a rascal drives by, and a boy, who is her grandson, runs up and yells, Meemaw, that man over there called me a son of a bitch.
This kid is probably like 7.
7-year-old boy with a very country accent. Sounds a lot like a young Tolbert. Meemaw, that man called me a son of a bitch. Meemaw had nothing to do with that. She didn't care. She just wanted to get in line.
Meemaw no-sold it. Meanwhile, Varnum, Travis, and I were trying not to laugh uncontrollably in this kid's face.
Well, you get to hear all sorts of wrestling conversations around you, and I'm just like, I fucking hate every single one of you. We're standing in line. We got to see our boy Danny Singleton. Danny, you're looking great after your gastric bypass. You're looking good. Danny was actually with us at quarantine, sat behind us, and the entire time was complimenting Cookie.
Yes. I do remember that.
So Danny, very, very much good to see a familiar face in line. Also in line, we're standing in line, and a man in a what could be described as a sequined jacket walks up to us, and a beautiful tuft of white hair, done in a mullet style, a beautiful mullet.
Davenport?
Not Davenport, but Ricky Morton. Morton.
Close.
One half of the famed Rock and Roll Express. He comes up to me and Tolbert and Travis in line and says, "Hey boys, hey, what time does this show start?" And me, I laugh about it. It's what I felt like it was a dad joke of one of those like, "Hey, I'm here. Like, when are we getting it going?" sort of thing, And I'm like, "Ha ha ha!" And he's like, "No, man, I don't know when this fucking show starts, and I'm on first."
I gotta get my bag.
What?
I'm like,
what? Why did he choose you guys? Out of everybody,
we were by the
that's in line.
escalator.
we were by the escalator.
Yeah. The point we made it in line, whereas the escalator with the talent would go up to the locker room. So
Gotcha.
yes.
I can see Ricky Morton just in his head going, "Man, I hate fucking wrestling fans. These three look kind of normal."
Yeah, and we're like, "Oh my God, that was Ricky Morton. Oh my God, Ricky Morton didn't know what time the show starts."
And he's on first.
And he's on first.
Jesus.
So we wait in line for those 2 hours, and then we finally get into the arena. Great setup, thousands of chairs. This arena was legit sold out. We get in pretty early, and we're able to find some good seats. Tolbert.
They were better than good seats. And, after the last time we went a little late, and we strolled right in, and we sat at the very, very back row of seats, or to the point where we could stand up on the seats and no one was behind us, and we could actually see the show. So we see a grouping of seats. We said, "Hey, Varden, let's go around and sit on the entrance side." We got third row seats to WrestleCade. It was awesome. We're high-fiving each other, having drinks. We're like, nothing could ruin these seats until a very short, stocky redneck man sits down right in front of me and throws his shoulder over the back of the chair, looks around to me, and just starts talking a mile a minute and name dropping wrestling promoters and wrestlers and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, oh, well, obviously this guy's well versed. So I talked to him for a little bit, and I said, "Hey, man, cool. Glad to be here. We've been here before. Can't wait for the dark match. We're really excited to see our boys, the Dawson brothers. They're from my hometown. They live in Wilmington for a moment as well. Like the local boys, we're here to support them and cheer them on. They're our boys." And he goes, "Fuck the Dawson brothers. I hate them." Like, whoa.
Immediately. We knew where we stood with these wrestling fans, that maybe they were not a fan of a lot of the wrestlers that we were fans of.
Yeah, so we're like, this is going to be interesting. I thought that was going to be the end of the conversation. He proceeds to tell me how Zane Dawson did him wrong and went after him one night, and just keeps telling all these stories, saying how they did George South dirty. They didn't need to do George South dirty like they did a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, the Dawsons did turn on George South and ended a pretty long-term relationship, but this guy was not having it. Aaron at one point leans over to me and goes, "This guy thinks all this shit's real." I was just like nodding. I'm like, "Yeah, brother, he's giving you heat. That's his fucking job."
No, like legit. Like there was a line of kayfabe that they did not know existed.
It was mind blowing. And shit, if they did not give the Dawsons some heat when they came out, it was what 4-man tag match.
Yeah. So the Dawson brothers and I can't remember who they were with, but they went against White Mike and a couple guys. Had a fun dark match to kind of kick off our activities that night.
It was a great match, actually. It was fun.
It was a very fun match. We've got a picture of Tolbert giving Zane Dawson the finger and saying,
I had to give him a little heat,
Yeah, fuck the Dawsons.
Like I love those guys, but I'm a good wrestling fan. I boo the heels. I cheer for the good guy.
Anyway, so we get into it. I do want to say one thing, and I know Tolbert, I don't know if you want to bring this up, but there was a very special moment. Tolbert's friend who passed away this year.
Yeah.
Justin, big wrestling fan. We got to hang out with him last WrestleCade. His friends had a seat reserved for him, ticket. It was a very special thing. So there was an empty seat for Justin.
Yeah, they bought tickets. These guys are huge wrestling fans. They go to many, many indie shows, and we had such a fun time at WrestleCade together. Year before last, we're like, hey guys, we're doing this every year. And they had VIP seats, right before he passed away. So they said, hey, we're going to keep the seat empty for him. So we got to see Chuck and Sean. And we got a little picture together, with us around his empty seat. But I kept one empty for him, man. So I know he was there with us in spirit, and he would have loved that show.
Yeah, that was a moment that I actually got a little emotional before the show. I'm like, wow, that's actually like a special thing to do for somebody, and I know Justin would have loved it. So
yeah, cheers to him.
So we go into the actual wrestling event, and we had some fun matches. Tolbert was getting annoyed with the man in front of us the entire time.
He would not stop talking to me, man. I was like, brother, I'm trying to enjoy these matches. Like, these are awesome matches. Stop talking to me.
And beside us, I don't know if Mike got to see this, but what was our friend from the Fayetteville show that
Oh yeah, so we're sitting there and we're interacting with these people that have already expressed their distaste in the Dawson brothers. They're talking to us a mile a minute. And Mike walks our friend Doug that we sat down beside down in Fayetteville wearing his Dawson brothers hoodie.
What are the chances?
I know he comes in a little late, and where we are sitting too is you kind of have to go around the whole arena, around the ring. You kind of snake around this maze to get there. We had awesome seats, and we're sitting there, and he plops down right beside us. And I look up and go, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Doug from SmackDown in Fayetteville?" He's like, "Oh hell yeah!" And it's funny because this guy lives in Wilmington as well. So
wow.
The fact that we've run into him at these wrestling events is hilarious. But Doug's our new buddy. We got a picture with Doug. We're gonna hang out sometime, Doug.
When did the guy in front of you do his outfit changes?
This was right around this time.
This is right around this time. The matches are starting to come out. This guy is very excited for who is he excited for? Colby Carino?
CW.
CW. Oh yes, that's
Anderson.
Really, he was very excited for CW.
He's a big CW Anderson fan, and maybe my favorite quote of the night from Zane Dawson is, "That guy's so dumb he doesn't even know how to spell CW."
He said this to him. He said this to him while he was standing on the ring apron, because this guy would rush the barricade. Every entrance, this guy would rush the barricade and stand in front of people that have paid like hundreds of dollars for seats, to the point where they're getting pissed off. And he's leaning over the barricade, giving them heat. He's throwing up the CW sign. Yeah, it was beautiful. Zane's like, "You can't even spell CW." and they were giving him some real heat, and the Dawsons were giving it right back to him. It was amazing to watch. It was true art.
This guy had a great family too. It was a nice family of four. His son, his daughter, who we also think maybe was his son's girlfriend, who we also don't know how old she was. She looked 12 years old and acted 12 years old, but had a tattoo. And we're still unsure of the age of this girl.
It's somewhere between 12 and 36 is the range. We couldn't quite figure it out. The son, how when you're a kid, you kind of dress how your parents dress you. You kind of, I'm going to dress like my dad. And you grow out of that phase. You get your own style. This kid did not. He's like, "I'm going to dress just like my daddy. I'm going to wear my NASCAR racing shirt."
Tuck it in.
It wasn't even NASCAR. It was like local regional racing shirt.
Yeah, it was like an ARCA shirt.
Tucked into my Wranglers with my cell phone clip and my weird shoes.
So
yeah, and it was and they all had AML hats on. Big AML fans.
And more power to him. AML is a great wrestling local promotion. Anyways, the matches begin. We get to see some fun matchups. What was the first match? Oh, the first match was the Rock and Roll Express against the Bollywood Boys. You're in rural North Carolina. Of course, the Bollywood Boys, not a big fan base in North Carolina.
Let's say they got some heat.
Got some heat. The Rock and Roll Express looked great. Fun matchup. Very fun. The Rock and Roll won, of course. We got to see Ricky. Ricky made it to his match in time. Anyways, we go to the next matchup. I don't remember what that was, but it was good. Fandango,
Actually,
I believe.
the whole card
Fandango,
on my phone.
Fandango and Caprice Coleman, I believe, was the second matchup.
It was.
Good matchup. Fandango wrestled 15 years in the WWE system, had a match against Caprice Coleman. Caprice Coleman, been around North Carolina wrestling and also Ring of Honor and national promotions like that. We then go on a very fun trios matchup. We had Rich Swann, a new guy I'm not sure of, and now Timmy Lou Retton, our boy, got to wrestle three very athletic kids that Colby Carino was one of them.
Yes.
Fun, spotty little matchup that we got to see. And then we start getting into more of the other part of the card. PCO against Redbeard.
Yes, I did not know Redbeard was on the card. This is a matchup I was unaware of. And when his music hit and he came out, I was on my feet, throwing up the horns, holler. And I was very excited for that matchup. And it proved to be a pretty brutal match for the most part. we got to see PCO kill himself and then come back to life
multiple times, much like the Frankenstein-like character that he is based on.
It is, yes. He took a brutal spot off the top rope. He does, what does he do? A moonsault off the top rope? And
it's like a swanton.
A swanton, yeah. And he lands pretty much neck first onto the apron. It was a brutal spot. I posted it on the Instagram. If you want to see it, go to our Instagram. We have a little clip at $2 steak _ you can see PCO nearly die.
At this point, I believe the fans in front of us were really annoying the front row fans. The front row fans were having a little tiff and told them to sit down and not come back. They got a little huffy and puffy that they got told what to do. Anyways, we go to the next batch of matchups. We had a little battle royal. Always fun to see all the wrestlers of old and young come together. There's always some surprises during that. All of a sudden, Sandman, Enter Sandman by Metallica starts playing, and we cringe at it because we know last time Sandman was there, he made some comments about women's wrestling that maybe were not PC and not right. So we were a little scared that Sandman was coming back out. And all of a sudden, Hornswoggle appears at the apron, and it's Hornswoggle with a cane and a cigarette in his mouth, and he comes out through the crowd. And this is the big clearing of the ring spot. Hornswoggle goes in with his Singapore cane and starts bashing the heads of everybody and knocking people out, clearing some of the ring. And all of a sudden, New Jack's music hits.
What?
What?
Natural Born Killers?
Yes.
New Jack is dead, though.
We get the video package. We get everything. We get the full 9. And who is it but C.W. Anderson, right?
Oh, God damn it.
It is a New Jack tribute, and I thought that I was not going to enjoy it, but C.W. Anderson did so well in this tribute. It was awesome. He did all the moves.
It was.
How annoying was the guy in front of you at that point?
He lost his shit.
Of course he did. Fucking course he did.
I don't think this guy would have been a fan of New Jack. If New Jack was there, he probably would have said some words that maybe would have gotten this fan canceled. This guy maybe not the most good at racial relations. This guy in front of us, I feel that he was a very backwood redneck. But the C.W. Anderson spot was great. We had a fun battle royal, and then after this match clears out, the greatest professional wrestling thing in history hits, and it is time. one for George South. Can you give me a little bar of the beginning of his song?
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
It is a very special moment. The entire arena sang along with Journey.
Yeah. Now, me personally, I've heard that song way too many times working in a bar. I hate that song. I cringe to the sound of it. I've heard too many white girls screaming at the top of their fucking lungs.
Same.
But when George South comes out to that song, I got chills.
The entire arena coming out to singing along with it was a very special moment. We got to see him wrestle Heath Slater. Heath Slater, of course, has got kids. You know, I've got kids. But then all of a sudden you hear George South say, you know what? I've got grandkids. And then that was the crux of that matchup. So it was a very fun matchup between the two.
Before the match, we were talking about the George South match, and we were talking about how we love George's promos. He's infamous for his 10-minute promos before he even takes his jacket off. And Varden mentioned, he's like, how much you want to bet before he even says a word, he's going to say, I've got grandbabies. George South grabs the mic, and the first thing he says, I got grandbabies. Which eventually the whole thing of it all led to a they've got kids chant.
At one point I said, George, kill him and his wife could be a single mother. And then everybody's like, oh, that's not right. You shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, it's wrestling chants. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Aaron, did you get canceled at WrestleCade?
I think I did. Yeah.
Damn.
Anyways, George South goes over. A great matchup between the two. Very fun. Let's move on to the next match. I believe was it Enzo Amore and Matt Hardy. Go ahead, Tolbert.
It was a good one. It was good to see. It was good to see either one of the Hardy Boys live. It's a treat. Not the biggest Enzo fan. I think he's a literal piece of shit. But honestly, the match was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The crowd was super into it. Of course, delete chants. Enzo actually cut a pretty good promo. I'll give him that. Enzo cuts a good promo.
He asked the entire crowd, do y'all even know any other keys on the keyboard? He's like, there's tab, how you doing?
Delete.
Asterisk, how you doing? 3, how you doing?
But yeah, of course, after every key, the crowd was screaming delete.
That's clever. I like that.
He went through like 15 keys of the keyboard. I think he ended number 5, delete. But also during the match, there was a lady with a GoPro camera on standing right in front of me, and she had a little baby on her chest. I was like, why does that cute little baby look so familiar? And it was Matt Hardy's wife and his new son. I follow him on the Instagram, and he posts family's pictures all the time.
It was Reby.
Yeah, she was filming the match with the next generation of Hardy Boys. But fun matchup. Of course, Matt Hardy won.
At one point, Enzo jumped on the turnbuckle, looked directly at Tolbert, and Tolbert jumped out of his seat with 2 middle fingers and yelled, "Fuck you, Enzo!" And Enzo looking at Tolbert's like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? No, fuck you. Tolbert.
I do not, I hate Enzo.
So how many beers deep are we at this point?
So, Cookie, here's the thing. They had a very shitty beer selection. I was thinking maybe they'll have some Foothills, but they had a liquor bar. So me and Travis were drinking rum and cokes the whole time.
Nice.
Meaning that Aaron had to drive home.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. The entire way.
Anyways, we get to the time of the main event, a very special matchup. On paper, it is Buddy Murphy against Malachi Black. Very good. Both of these competitors have had awesome matches against each other. A very special match on paper, and they didn't disappoint. I was the good wrestling fan. Whenever I wanted to go get pictures, I crouched down. I was like, hey, am I blocking your view? I was being very nice to the people in the front row. Hey, I'm just going to take a picture and I'm back. I got my picture, went back. This lady grabs me by the arm and says, hey, honey, I'm not going to be able to sit in my front row seat for this last match. I got to go help sell T-shirts. You want to take my seat during this match? And I'm like, hell yes, I get to be a front row viewer of Buddy against Malachi, and I got to sit there. I'm sorry I left Tolbert and Travis.
Yeah, we looked around and we realized Varnum's gone. And I was like, hey, Travis, where's Varnum? He goes, oh, he's over there in the front row. Like, you son of a bitch.
So I got a front row seat for that. Got some great pictures, some great videos. Incredible matchup, man. Those two guys really together are a special, special match.
They kick the shit out of each other. I mean, spin kicks, chain wrestling. We saw some high flying stuff, man. Just power moves left and right. These guys were really connecting with some punches. It was a phenomenal match. It was so good. I bought the main event T-shirt.
He bought the T-shirt.
I'm also a Malachi Black Mark. So,
and I'm going to tell you, we had a great time. I made the observation yesterday to the boys. I love 5-star matches just like anybody else. I love a good competitive wrestling match. That I feel is great. But give me an old school Southern match where there's only 3 moves, nobody leaves their feet, and they're just getting heat, like a George South or a Rock and Roll Express match. I appreciate that too, and I feel that that's some next level. Somebody's a good professional wrestler if they can handle a match like that and be able to make that entertaining. Being in an area where everybody is a hardcore wrestling fan, it sucks, but the energy from that is a special thing. I was very much in the moment yesterday during the entire thing. Very, very special WrestleCade moments yesterday.
Yeah, in fact, like the biggest pops you hear are for Rock and Roll Express, George South. Like 2 biggest crowd pops for entrances for sure. Besides like Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, everybody loves Thunder Rosa. Oh, I forgot about that. We had a Thunder Rosa match.
We did get to see Thunder Rosa in a 3-way, fatal 3-way match. Whatever.
Yeah.
I really like the Thunder Rosa match.
Oh, I bet. I would have too.
All right, for our closing 2 segments, Tolbert, I believe. So we're going to end with your haiku. But before we end with the haiku, we are going to open up the George South mystery bag. And we're going to just absorb the mystery assortment of wrestling memorabilia that George South has given us.
Can we start by asking how much did you pay for this?
All right, so it is George South does $10 mystery boxes every WrestleCade. So $10 cash, you get 7 items, I think. I don't know. You never know, but he does it every year, and apparently it's some of the wrestlers and some WrestleCade veterans. It's one of their favorite pieces of merch from WrestleCade. So,
very much so. It's just a bunch of weird stuff.
And Varnum, the very first thing you see when you open up the bag is a copy of a travel version of the New Testament Bible,
along with Psalms and Proverbs. Those are 2 very important Old Testament
books. And usually with George South's merchandise, you get Chick tracts, which we were looking through the bag. We couldn't find the Chick tract. I found it tucked inside the Bible here. We've got the famous George South Chick tracts telling you how he is a professional wrestler. He's wrestled for in front of thousands of people, and how shitty his life was before Jesus, all the battles he's had, and now he has found Jesus and devoted his life to him. Thank you, Mr. George South. He also preaches a WrestleCade sermon the following Sunday.
We unfortunately had to leave last night, so we weren't able to.
Now that we got that out of the way, we have a pack of Jeff Hardy playing cards. Some TNA Impact Jeff Hardy playing cards. I was going to say maybe I should keep these in the shrink wrap. They might be worth something someday.
They won't be.
I don't think so. All right. And then we have I guess this is an old school postcard of Mr. Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
That's actually kind of cool. You can give that to Linz.
I'm going to hang it up at work. Yes. It's a freakishly similar presence as one of my good friends. All right. Well, we got a flyer for George South Wrestling School. Of course, you want to learn how to wrestle? Go to Charlotte. Look up George South Pro Wrestling School. He's going to smarten you up.
That's actually kind of awesome.
Yeah. Well, also, this is we should have played this. We missed a good opportunity to play this on the way back home.
We didn't. We did not.
Oh, yes, you did.
TNA's, all the entrance songs. TNA Meltdown. Music from TNA Wrestling, Volume 2.
Love
We've
it.
got 19 tracks on here, man. We've got, let's see. We've got we got Dudley's on here. We got all kinds of stuff. Kurt Angle, all kinds of stuff.
Pac-Man Jones. Oh,
yeah,
love it.
Nothing but bangers on.
We're sending that to Denver, Colorado.
Yes,
Love it.
I did get a headshot or a photograph of the Mr. Number One Paul Jones holding the belt right there. This is probably from circa, I don't know,
78?
original NWA days.
Yeah, see, I think that's pretty cool itself.
We've got an AML promotional poster from 2019. Looked like a pretty big event. Look, we got George South on there. We got the Dawsons on there. We got all kind of local Carolina talent. Look at that. Cool. And one of my
this isn't a boxing video for YouTube.
One of my favorites, and I was like, what is this? This is an actual photograph. This is a glossy print of Wendy Richter.
And I want to know how George South got a hold of did he take this picture himself of Wendy Richter?
I saw it. I was like, hey, this looks like a very old, like an actual picture, like someone took on a Kodak camera and got it developed. And it is. It even has the Kodak watermarks on the back. It's nice and glossy and thick. Someone took this and developed it. I think George was just going through stuff and he was like, oh, I got these old pictures. I'll throw them in here, buddy.
Can I get you to do something, Tolbert?
Yes, what?
For your daughter, can I get you to sneak that picture into one of your mother's old photo books? And while your daughter is looking through the photo books, you tell her that is her grandmother.
I will. That's a great idea. But Varnum, there's always some kind of poster or flag in these boxes. There's usually an action figure. I was hoping for an action figure, but I guess this is the next best thing.
Oh my God.
We have a flag of Madison Ryan.
Madison Rain.
Look at that. Woo. Yeah, Cookie.
Is that going up in the shed? Is that going up in Mike's man shed is the question.
I think I'm going to put it up in my shed closet thing there. I don't know what else to do with it.
I'm sure Katie would love to have that hanging front and center in the.
Barnum said I should send it to Bubba Ray Dudley.
Yeah, they just broke up. That's the sad thing.
But yeah, well, that's it. That was a pretty good grab bag. Going to do it again next year.
You got to. Every year, it is just a bunch of stuff that George has found over his many years of wrestling.
Oh, and it all came in a TNA Impact. What do you call these? Like sport cleat bags or whatever?
Yeah,
so
We'll say a kit bag.
Yeah, I can put my rugby gear in my TNA bag now.
All right, well, that's that. And now let's finish this up. We've got a beautiful WrestleCade haiku written by one Tolbert.
All right. Shirtless kayfabe dad. AML Adams family. Hey, Ricky made it.
Hey, there's Ricky. I will say one thing. We did call Zane Dawson after the match. We're like, Zane, these guys, there's this group. They go to every AML show. They hate you. What's up with that? And he's like thinking about it. And immediately he says, oh, are you talking about the Slow family?
Oh, no.
We were on speaker in the car. And of course, we all just busted out laughing. So we swapped some stories. I told them how much heat they got from the family, which they really appreciated.
He's like, I hate the Slow family.
They gave us some real insight on that. Oh man, I could have done a full shoot promo on them today, and I chose not to because
you're the bigger man.
I'm the bigger man, and also, I mean, honestly, where would some of these smaller promotions be without people like that? So
So thank you, Slow Family, for being a part of our experience yesterday. You made a very, very happy group of wrestling fans. Tolbert, can you at some point please post the picture of the dejected Steelers fan? I believe the Steelers are they losing right now?
They're getting dog walked.
Yeah. So at this point is a good point to post that Steelers fan and also tag WrestleCade.
Yeah. Also, just keep a lookout. We've got a ton of photos and videos. I don't want to just dump them all at once. So just keep a lookout on Twitter and Instagram all week. We're going to be posting a lot of those pictures throughout the week.
At number 2 $steak _ on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to DM us when Tolbert doesn't follow through.
Yeah. I'm going to follow through. I got a shitload of pictures.
Yeah. Kevin, our fan that lives in Kentucky. If we do not follow through, in which I have promised Kevin a t-shirt and I told him I was going to get it to him. Mike, what is my notorious trait about myself?
Well, sorry you broke up there for a second, but I can tell you that you are terrible at following through, particularly when it comes to mailing shit out.
Yes. So Kevin, you will be getting your t-shirt at some point. I promise Jesus, I'll send it out.
God damn it.
Thank you for listening to a very special episode of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.